everybody, this is soon to be Dr. Maxwell McLaughlin. Welcome to the vlog. Today I'll be covering what it takes to get into Palmer, so like what kind of prerequisites you need to become a Palmer student, and what it's like to be a Palmer student. I've been a Palmer student for almost 2 years. I'm now going into 8th quarter, just finished 7th. So a big part of it was definitely our dad. Our dad was definitely the one that pushed us to be chiropractors, basically gave us the motivation to become chiropractors. Like, he has been such a great father and a great idol to many of us through the years, and we all looked up to him for advice. So growing up in that household, I was pretty much adjusted on a regular basis since I was born, pretty much. So I've always had chiropractic care since I was a baby. So from my experience, it's just been a wonderful thing. Like, I haven't really had to worry about much in terms of spinal health. Like, I was always thinking about what I want to do when I grew up, right? My mom was always there, like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, you know, you can be whatever you want, do whatever you want. And then came my dad back in the room, and he was like, no, you gotta be a chiropractor. And this would be his reason for being a chiropractor. He's like, it's the happiest job in the world. He's like, all you're doing every day is helping people, and you're making them happy. You're taking them out of pain and bringing them into happiness, pretty much. And I always saw that. I used to help my dad in the office. I used to see that on patients every day, of my dad just helping people. And I wanted to be able to do that. So you need 24 science credits, right? And you can have any bachelor's. Any bachelor's, it doesn't matter if it's in psychology, biology, history, it doesn't matter. You can have a bachelor's in any degree, 4-year degree, in anything. For instance, my bachelor's is in psychology, and then you need to have a 24 science credits off of a required list that Palmer will give to you when you call them. So they'll tell you like what classes you need. But for instance, the classes that I took in undergrad in order to be accepted into Palmer were, I had to take statistics in undergrad, just any kind of statistics class. It could have been the psychology statistics or just basic statistics. I took both because I didn't know what bachelor's I was going for at the time, so I just did regular statistics. Chem 1, I took also Chem 2, both with labs. I took organic chemistry with no lab. I also took cellular processes, which is biology, with a lab. I took that one. I took anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 with labs. And I believe that's it. That's all I really took to get the 24 science credits. And then once I had the 24 science credits, I just finished out my bachelor's. And then I called Palmer, and we did this whole interview. They would call you, ask you, okay, what makes you want to be a chiropractor? And I told them the whole thing with my dad and my family being chiropractors, and they're like, that's exactly what we wanted to hear. That's exactly what we want to be coming to Palmer. So that was the answer they gave me, and I was accepted. And first quarter was definitely interesting, different take on it than undergrad. It's definitely a different environment because you're with, basically my class is 90 people. And you're with each other every day, so you basically become like a little family in Palmer. You get these 90 people you come close to. They divide you into sections depending on how big your class is. Most classes, I think, are at least 4 sections. My class, we're divided into 5 sections, so we have 18 people in each section. And then some people would, if like the remainders, whoever can't fit into another section, would either be drafted into a different section. So we have 5 sections in my class. A lot of great people, a lot of wonderful students, a lot of great friends that I have, you know, at Palmer. Great relations with teachers. The teachers are great. They really want you to do well. Teachers have your best interests at heart. They really want you to do well in their class. They want you to pass. So they're always there to help you, make sure that you will get through it. I've had times where I've just felt like I was just gonna fail. Like I just felt like I was, you know, I know what I was doing. There was just I think the worst quarter I really dealt with that was 4th quarter. 4th quarter is the hardest quarter I think I've dealt with since I've been here. And it's not hard in the sense that you can't comprehend the information, like you don't understand. It's just the amount of information they present to you in such a little amount of time. For instance, like some quarters, you can take anything from 5 to 7, 8 classes you'll have. And it can be overwhelming, and you just have to push through it and persevere, and just have your mental capability just pushing you through it. Like, you can't lose hope and lose sight of what you're going to become. So I have to keep reminding myself why I'm here, why am I doing this to myself, right? Why am I studying this hard? Why am I putting myself through the stresses of this? And my ultimate goal is to become a doctor, to help people get better. And my ultimate goal is also to be in clinic and to be able to help people that come in clinic in ninth quarter. So ninth quarter is when you're able to see patients. You're able to see people in clinic that are going to be your actual patients, and you'll be helping them get better. One thing I remember, I was talking to my sister about this. I was like, how am I going to diagnose people in clinic? Like, how am I going to fully understand the information that I've been taught the past 8 quarters when I go into clinic? And she said, she's like, don't freak out about it. She's like, you're not going to be great at diagnosing in clinic. She's like, you're not. And that's why you have mod docs. That's why you have doctors there, actual DCs, actual doctors of chiropractic there with you to help you through it. So you're not really supposed to be diagnosing people. You're really supposed to get like really close to a diagnosis, and then go to your mod doc and go, hey, am I on the right track? Hey, could this be the issue? Could this be the symptom? Could this be the diagnosis, right? So that's why you have mod docs. That's why you have the doctors in clinic to help you through it. You're not alone at clinic, right? And I used to think I was going to be alone, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing this all by myself in this room with a patient. The patient's going to look at me like you're just some dumb chiropractic student, can't help me. So, you're just there really to listen to the patient, take your history, and then go back to your mod doc and then go over the information, and then they put you on the right track to be able to diagnose and help your patient, right? So back to the quarter system. So the quarters, it really makes it feel so fast. Like, I remember I had a friend, I was in first quarter when I first moved here, and I had a friend who was in sixth quarter. So I used to buy books off of him, and now, he's gone, right? I'm in almost an eighth quarter. He graduated last quarter, or 2 quarters ago he graduated. So that to me is crazy, right? Like, you would think first quarter, sixth quarter, like, my gosh, you're so far ahead of me. But in reality, it's not really that big of a difference. The quarter system, it really makes your time just go by so quickly. Like, I really love the quarter system. Like, when you're in it, you feel like it's not taking that long. Like, all of a sudden, you're in week 1, and then it feels like the next second, you're in 6th week taking exams. Like, time just flies, and you feel like you have enough time in that time to study and do whatever you want. You feel like you have the time, but in reality, you don't. It just flies by. So I have trouble reminding myself, like, don't have time to go to Disney World. You don't have time to go out on the weekend and, do stuff. You got to stay at home and study, right? And I had trouble doing that in my first few quarters. I was like, I have plenty of time. I can study this later. And then all of a sudden I'm taking exams again. So it's definitely been a fun ride. I definitely enjoy it. I'm so glad I'm almost done, right? The Palmer system has 13 quarters. And I'm just excited to become a Doctor of Chiropractic and get all of these classes. And I also have to do boards. I have 4 parts of boards to do. I hope everyone here will join me in that journey. I'm hoping to do more vlogs like this during my time here. I'm hoping to do probably one every week. Just kind of like what I'm studying, how I'm preparing for boards, what I'm learning each week. Thank you all for joining me. I hope what you've learned here is prevalent to you. I hope that helps you understand what you need to do in order to get into Palmer, what they require of their students. One thing I didn't mention was the GPA. They require at least a C average, which I believe is a 2.75 GPA to get into chiropractic. So if you're not a straight A student, you don't have to worry about that. And don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and to click on the notification bell to keep up with notifications on when I post my next video. Again, thank you all for joining me, and keep your spine healthy.